Good day, friends. I hope you're doing really well. Those in the U.S., I hope you enjoyed your Thanksgiving holiday, and I'm sure that you learned a lot. So I hope the videos prior to this were also preparatory for you, and you're ready for the next step. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Tracy Brown, and I am a trauma-informed dietitian and intuitive eating expert. In today's video, it's just kind of a continuation of the series. So we're doing a fun little series in the book about logic, and I don't have the copy of the book with me today, so you can kind of go back into the archives here and look at that. So we're still in the chapter around red herrings, and again, for review, red herrings are basically kind of an object, a subject, something that we're displacing or covering up, basically, for something that either we don't know what we're talking about, how to talk about it, fear of talking about it, whatever it is. So really common in the non-diet eating disorder kind of world is seeing weight as the solution for every problem. That would be a red herring, right? If I lose weight, everybody will like me. No one will ever criticize me. There's a lot of magical thinking involved with it, right? Versus a more nuanced, broader scope. Look at what is bothering us, what we're feeling afraid of, what we don't know, what we have a felt sense of inside, but we don't know how to name or express or work through, basically. So that's a red herring. So when we're working, looking at our own stories or our own experiences, I feel fat is a really common red herring. And so in our culture, we've gotten overcoupled. So those of you who work with us personally or in a peaceful eating community, you've learned a lot about the I feel fat metaphor story. But what's really important is to recognize that stereotypically we have fat equals and thin equals, all these different feelings and qualities of life. And then we get that, the language of food and weight kind of overcoupled, kind of velcroed to feeling states. So instead of saying I feel sad, we say I feel fat. Or I feel afraid of rejection, we say I feel fat. And then therefore our culture says, well, if you don't want to feel that way, then you ought to just, do the extreme things, go on the diets, take the pills, do the things, right? Or the opposite, I feel really empty inside. And maybe that's sadness, maybe that's heaviness, whatever that is. And we try to eat to fill that space or eat to feel something different. And those would be your red herrings, right? And so it's really important for you to get really clear. Maybe some of your red herrings look like, I don't know how to deal with the potential being criticized by people I care about or other practitioners or parents or whatever it is, and we think if I can just figure this out and get the food right, then I'll be okay. The red herring is fixing your body. The solution is like, okay, so what is it that I don't really know how to navigate or have boundaries with or articulate? It's just easier to focus on the food and body versus learn boundaries, learn emotional regulation skills, learn how to expand your window. These are skill sets we have to learn versus programs we feel like we have to do to get through the pain. All right. So anyway, that's our red herring story for today. I would love to hear for you all maybe you worked through some red herrings and you want to share some examples here with your friends. What are some examples of some things? So I'll give you one real quick for me. For me to be able to deal with shame from my past, I developed some strategies of not only behaviors, but thinking that made me very prideful of like, well, I don't need to eat that food. And because I have more willpower, was what I was missing in my circumstance, so agency and all those things. So I thought, well, if I have more willpower over having needs, then I won't have needs. And then, people can't criticize me and I can't get disappointed and all the things. But that's a red herring. That's not how you're going to deal with, it's not a true solution, right? So I'll leave it with that. That was one of mine that I had to really work through, and I would love to hear some examples from you all so we can encourage each other. So thanks so much for watching. Next week, we're going to get back into some diet culture stuff. Around, if we don't, basically a little heads up is that we've got to learn how to, as we create some space from all the thoughts and the defensive strategies, the thoughts, the feelings, the actions that are diet cultured. If we don't fill that with something else, we're just going to fill it with something else actually destructive. You know, like if you were once a dieter and you become a workaholic, those aren't big leaps. If you were once binge eating, you might go back to trying to be more controlling about something else in your life. And those things are very important to tend to. If you don't, okay, great, you don't have an eating problem anymore, but now you've got other issues. So we got to stay out of the avoidance and the flight response and really dig into that. So, all right. All right. So thank you so much for putting your comments in. I have to hop off, but I will come back and certainly tag you with my responses. So thank you so much for taking the time and energy into the bravery of being present and being seen. So thank you so much. And I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.